Hi, have you also been in the situation where you blindly copy the Neovim configuration just to realize that you don't know what most of the plugins do? So did I, and that's why today I'm going to start from ground up using kickstart.nvim. So grab a coffee and enjoy my first video on Luix bits. Before we start, here's how my future projects will be done. I have my main PC, which I mostly use for gaming or work. Then I've got my mini PC, which currently runs Fedora server. But before I can do actual projects on the mini PC, I have to set up an IDE. The first step is to make a fork of the Kickstart Neovim repository. Now, I still have an old configuration here on my mini PC. It was nice, but I can never remember what shortcuts I set. The init.lua was structured with multiple imports for plugins, and here are many key maps that I mostly copied from others. I won't go into detail about these plugins, mostly because I don't know any details about it. I want to save the configuration for later, so I'll rename the folder in case I want to look it up. The next step is to clone your forked repository. I'm not sure if this is the best way to copy the repository and use it inside the configuration folder, but we'll see if it works. So let's open Neovim, and it's loading something. Alright, so here we are in the init.lua of Neovim. This is the cornerstone of every Neovim configuration. Kickstart apparently has useful commands and pre-configured plugins ready for you to enable. The commands aim to teach you what you're doing and why you're doing it. So my plan is to slowly read through the 1,000 lines of commands and code and delete every single line that I do not need. The first setting here is the leader key. As far as I understand, this is like the action key. Neovim listens to the leader key like it does to the colon. It's common to use spacebar here, and that's what I will do. Then nerd fonts or icons or other things. If you have them installed, I recommend you put this setting on true. Relative numbers, or that the current line is 0 and the lines above and underneath have relative numbers to your position. This is really useful to know how many lines you have to jump or navigate. For the clipboard, I'd like to have the same cache as the system, just so I can use the system clipboard, but I didn't understand much in the manual, so that's a problem for the future Luix. I suggest, if you're new like me, you enable these messages here, so Neovim will shout at you when you try to use the arrow keys. Now, we've already arrived with the plugins, and the first one is lazy.nvim. Lazy is a plugin manager. I think it's comparable to npm in JavaScript or Composer in PHP. I did not change any settings here. With the global function require, we tell Neovim which plugins we want. We can also pass different setting parameters here for each plugin. The first plugin is git assigns. It adds git related signs to the gutter, what or wherever the gutter is. Next, we have which key. It shows all follow-up keys for enabled keybinds after you type the first letter in normal mode. This also directly maps different keys to its nerd font icon equivalent. Another reason to get nerd fonts. Do I have to document them myself? Or yeah, I probably won't do that. The next plugin is Telescope, a fuzzy finder to find everything in your project. It is great. But how do I navigate inside of this? There are some key maps, but they're just for different types of fuzzy searches. Seems like there will be another problem for future Luix. Next, we have LazyDef, an LSP that helps with completion and annotation and more. I understand the use, but I have no idea how I can use it inside Neovim, but I will find that out. I'm slacking off. My brain can handle more of this init.lua for today, but we're already on line 270 from 1,000 lines or something. If you have any tips, tricks or good sources for me, leave a comment. I hope you enjoyed seeing me struggle, and maybe you even learned a thing or two. I hope you're having a great morning or evening, and I'll see you next time. And by the way, my first 10 subscribers get an honorary place in my init.lua. Bye bye!